So I have found out some very interesting news, which is that AJ Miller is coming to do a seminar in England in a month's time. So he's from Australia, which is a long way away. And I know last time I looked up and tried to find out like what is he doing, I found out that actually he was doing a seminar in Ireland. But yeah, that was still, I would have had to get like either a boat or a plane to get there, and it was a bit too far. It wasn't worth that. But yeah, he's actually going to be an hour and a half away. I found the nearest station's Kemmel, I think it's pronounced like that. And it's an hour and a half away from Birmingham. And so I could get there, and then I have to do a 20-minute cycle. I was going to go to Shroud. I thought that was the closest station because it looked like the only station that was kind of mentioned. But there was the only bus that goes from there to where the place is about 50 minutes and 45 minutes bus journey, and there's only 3 a day. And in the week there's nothing on Sunday, and on Saturday the earliest bus is 3:10, but the earliest train that gets from Birmingham into this Stroud place is actually 8:30, so I won't be able to go on Saturday and Sunday that way. And then I looked to see if there was, and there was a tiny little town called Kimmel, which is strange because it didn't even look like a town. It's probably only got a couple of houses, but it's got a station, and I can actually get a direct train there in an hour and a half, and then there's just a short bike ride, so I can get there Saturday. I don't want to go every day, and I don't even know if I really want to like go to the seminar, because I don't believe much of what he's saying. I definitely don't think he's talking to spirits. I don't think that he knows anything about me or God or anything. But at the same time, I want to show support for him. I want to meet him. That's something that one of the things that I want to do before I die is meet this AJ Miller guy and tell him that I'm Eve. But I don't really want to do it with me showing up in a secondhand bicycle looking like a birthday cake, and I didn't want it to be that way. I wanted like a bunch of people who are backed up by millionaires or billionaires even to give me, hey, we'll give you £12 million, you can make yourself happy over the next year, and then after the year we will go public and expose and test people to see if they believe. That's kind of how I wanted it to be. Well, I didn't want it to be a year's wait, but that's how I want it to be now, because I'm so angry with people that I don't. Giving me millions of pounds is not going to make me happy. I'm going to be suicidal for the rest of my life. But I want. There are some things that I want to do, and I want to promote this AJ Miller guy, and I want the media to expose him as being, the real Jesus that inspired the Bible. Okay, his religion and teaching is probably completely off, and it might still be off, and I don't want to tell him that because I don't want him to know that. But I want him to support. I want to support. I want to support him and whatever he wants to say, even if I don't agree with what he says. But yeah. I want to tell him that I'm Eve, or Darla, I'm calling her Darla, and that's to emphasize the fact that I was not made from Adam's rib, and nor do I believe the Genesis story. But yeah, is this a sign that something's going to happen soon? Ascension Day happens to be on the 28th. The 28th of May happens to be the 20... why is this just gone to switch to August? Sure what it says, switched to August, but yeah, 29th is Ascension Day, and his seminar is the 30th, 31st and June, and then he says on the 4th there might be some walks that he just does countryside, so he might group up with a bunch of people and go on a walk, and I don't mind doing that. That sounds kind of cool. Then we don't have to bother with the whole I don't believe in your teachings, but I can still be like, yeah, I'll go on a walk with you. I can get a cheap ticket. The cheapest ticket that I found is £25 on Trainline, but when I'm going to Kemmel, I think it's 28. But that's still fine. So it's £30 a day, which would be £60 if I do 2-day journeys. I could I could stay somewhere, but I don't think it's necessary, because I don't want to disrupt his teachings, and I don't want him. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm Eve, and therefore anything you say, I'm not going to believe. I don't want to be like that. I just want to be like, I believe that I'm Eve. I want you to do the research, but I want you to first finish doing the preaching that you are doing, and then for me to tell you that I'm Eve, for you to go away and do some research into it, and maybe, but I don't even know, because I don't even know if I really want him to believe that I'm God. I don't want him to believe that. I like him preaching lies and things that are not the truth. Does he know about me? I don't know. But I believe that my higher self is keeping me in some sort of spiritual prison where I can't talk to people and can't express things. So yeah, if I do go and meet this guy at this seminar, either I'm going to meet up with him and then just feel way too awkward to say anything, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, spirits, yeah, give me some. And of course I'm talking about alcohol, but no spirits. I believe you're talking to spirits. Yeah, either I'm just going to just like completely say nothing and then just kind of try and talk to him at the end, and then he's just going to disappear and I'm not going to be able to like talk to him, or I am going to get in a conversation and he's just going to think that I'm mad, and I'm not going to have any ability to make him look at my page, or I don't know. Either that, or someone is going to come and get me the day before and stop me from meeting him, but I don't know. I feel like my higher self is keeping me away from people who might be players in the whole big scheme of things, because I've not really met any of the singers or celebrities, and I don't know how. I know people write to people for help and stuff, but I wouldn't even know who to write to. Sometimes my uncle often writes to people in the government, and I have no clue like how he gets the address, or how you would write to the government, or I don't believe that they'd read my post. It's just like the CVs that I was giving out before I found out that I was God. I was just giving out more and more and more CVs, and it just felt like something was going around, just getting people to throw them in the bin, and because that's what has been happening. Something's keeping me in some sort of trap, and yeah, so I don't know, but this is definitely a sign that something might be coming soon, because I want to meet him. But I guess there's a small possibility that I just meet him as just a randomer on a bike, and who doesn't even have a car and doesn't have a job, and then he's just going to take nothing that I say seriously. There's a high chance that might actually happen, and then I might have a whole nother year wait. I'm really hoping that's not the case. But yeah, I think things are going to start next year, next summer, and I know that I like the idea of the marriage, ceremony, but the thing about a marriage is that you don't just go up to a stranger and marry them. You get to know them, and so I need to have a team of people that I can interview the world. I want to have lots and lots of interviews with people, and it would have been nice to have a first time interview with AJ. I go up to him and have an interview, or pay him to do an interview where I just talk about my beliefs, and there's some sort of camera crew that's just kind of filming it, and yeah, that would have been nice. But I also want a 40-day warning, and if the people who believe that I'm God are going to start talking to me on the 29th of May, which is the Ascension Day, which is 40 days after Easter, is when Jesus is supposed to go up into heaven. But yeah, technically, that's not me. That's AJ Miller, or that's the guy that inspired the character. So I don't know. Maybe someone is going to come and get me and take me to AJ Miller, who's only an hour and a half away, and then I speak with him, and then after this 3-day event that he's doing, that's when media could get involved with him, and I can just go undercover and have interviews with other people. That could be the plan, or maybe nothing's going to happen, and I'm just going to go down there with my bike, and he's just going to see me as some sort of nothing person. I don't know, but one of those things will happen. I will definitely go. Nothing's going to stop me from going.